All right, all this week we are going to be learning about frogs, toads, and other things that might live in the pond. So I have a lot to talk to you about. We're going to start off with frogs and their life cycle. So I brought my book out. This is Tadpole to Frog, and I actually have the life cycle of the frog that I will show you after our story. So this is by Melvin and Gilda Berger, and it has this little frog. You guys know Miss Holly loves frogs. Here we go. A frog lives on land and in water. You can see it. The mother frog lays eggs in the water. So here's Mama Frog. She's laying eggs in the water. Each egg has one dark spot. The mother frog lays hundreds of eggs at one time. So look, see all these little dots over here? These are her eggs. Now, they don't look like eggs we buy in the store, of course, and they are, after all, floating in the water, but these are frog eggs, and notice it's a big clump of eggs. A tadpole starts to grow inside of the egg. So, I hope you can see that. I can't. Okay. See how it's starting to make a tadpole in the egg? Oh, look over here. A tadpole comes out of the egg. Many frogs' eggs are eaten by fish and other water animals. So that is another reason why Mama Frog lays so many eggs, because remember, we talked about that in the animal world, how eggs get eaten by different kinds of animals like snakes and things like that. We also talked about it when turtle eggs got eaten, remember, out of the ocean, how the birds would eat them. So that's not a surprise. It's the way the animal world works. A tadpole looks more like a fish than a frog. Look at that. It's got a great big part of its body up here. It's got a tail, but it does kind of look like a fish since it has a tail. A tadpole can breathe under the water. At first, a tadpole holds on to a plant or a rock in the water. You can see. It's kind of hard to swim around when you're so small. They get better and better at it. A tadpole has a long tail. A tadpole eats plants that grow in the water. So there are other things that eat plants that grow in the water, right? Maybe some turtles, some fish. A tadpole can swim. So it learns to use that tail. Now, you notice it doesn't have any fins up here, does it? So no way to propel itself except its tail at the back. Oh, but look, now it's starting to change. A tadpole grows back legs, and the back legs have webs between the toes, right? It makes them better swimmers. Makes their feet like paddles. A tadpole grows front legs. Oh, look. So first it's back legs, then it's front legs. Now it still has its tail. It's still breathing underwater at this point. Oh, but it's changing more. A tadpole climbs out of the water. Tadpoles lose their tail and their lungs grow so that they can breathe the air. So before they had almost like gills where they could breathe underwater, and all of that changes and they have lungs like we have lungs to breathe air out of the water. So they are not going to be able to go in the water unless they hold their breath. A tadpole becomes a frog. Look at that. How cool is that? And the new frog lays eggs in the water. Oh, the end. Now is a good time to go and explore and see if you can find tadpole eggs. You can find them at the edge of ponds, also in big mud puddles and places that hold water, not necessarily a stream or creek, something that's flowing, but a standing water, so big puddle of water. And yes, the puddles can dry up before the frog eggs hatch. That is a possibility, but they will still lay their eggs there. So we're going to talk a little bit about those frogs and how they change. So we read in our story that these are my frog eggs. So they lay them in a big clump or group, and each one of these little dots represents a tadpole. Now the eggs do look a lot like this. This is Miss Heile's bubble wrap, but they do look a lot like this, and it almost looks like a clear jelly. The egg looks almost like clear jelly, and it just has a little black speck in the middle of it where the tadpole is growing. Isn't that interesting? The tadpole will hatch out of that egg, and look, let me put it up here on my camera. Look, it has a head, it has eyes, and look, this is its long tail. It's got kind of speckles, and it's going to use this tail to swim in the water. At this point, the tadpole is still changing. It's not a frog yet, is it? It's going to have to eat and grow, right? So he's swimming in the water. Okay. The next thing that happens is it grows some back legs. Look at that. You see its back legs? It's going to grow some back legs. Look, it still has its tail. And its body has gotten a little longer. You know, before it was just kind of the head. Here, let me hold it up so you can compare them. Look. It's just the head. Oh, hang on. Just the head. But now its body is starting to look more like it has a head and a body. All right. So do you remember what happens in the story? It grows back legs, and then it's going to grow front legs. And at this point, it's going to start to change, right? This little tadpole was breathing underwater, but this little tadpole, now that it's changed some more, still got a tail. Its lungs are developing, so it's only going to be able to breathe out of the water, and it's already got its legs. So look, 1, 2, 3, 4 legs. It still has a tail. Now its tail does not fall off. It actually grows up into the frog's body. So you want to see the next stage? Here's the next one. Look, and see how small its tail is? Here, I'll zoom in. See how small its tail is? That's because it is going up into the frog's body. Isn't that cool? So now, for sure, this little frog has lungs. It is going to have to stay out of the water. If it's going to dive into the water, it's going to have to hold its breath. It also has this vocal sac right here where it uses this to make noise. Now, it's not an adult yet. Remember, it still has part of its tail, but look. I do have an adult frog. Look at how big it is. You want me to hold him up so you can see? It's a little bigger. It has no tail now. See? No tail. It's a little bigger. It is now a full frog. It's grown up. It's got all of its legs and its lungs. Isn't that cool? This is called the life cycle of a frog. Now this frog, if it's a girl, is going to go lay more eggs and start all over again by laying eggs, becoming a tadpole, and that tadpole eventually changing to a frog. And it just continues to go around and around. All right, I'm going to let you go. I hope you have a great day.